I'll just get a welcome, a moment of silence, I'll get approval of the minutes, and then we'll come to you.
Okay, sounds good.
So we'll wait till 9:05 according to me. In case someone's running late. Just 2 more minutes. We got a lot going on, I'm just too bad not everybody's here. Okay, one request. The new audio system is in place. If you intend to pick up the microphone, please hold it at your mouth 3 inches away, but always leave your microphone on. This is what the instructions were, just,
I don't have one.
you don't have a microphone. Well, come sit over here then if you want, because we're being
I'm
recorded.
just gonna move the microphone.
You can move the microphone too.
I told everybody. Yeah. You can sit over here. Oh, you can take that one, that's true. Okay.
You're expecting colder weather than I was.
I'm over cold weather, and like, I hate being cold.
Okay, so keep your feet warm and then you feel better. No, I agree.
1 more minute.
I was
and,
thinking that or else you're going to be out in the field today or something.
We usually have 3 more members. One I know is sick. Ann is sick, Ann Vincent. And we have our town commissioner who serves, this is his responsibility, this board, he's not here today, and another gentleman.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you having us, and we'll
Oh, yeah.
talk for a few minutes and
Yeah,
give
no,
some
okay.
information to you guys.
And then where we can go on a project.
Yeah.
All right, so it is 9:05, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Welcome, everybody, to the tree board meeting, Tuesday, October the 14th, 2025, our monthly meeting. So we will have a moment of silence, please. Okay, thank you. All right, the minutes were posted on the town website, and if we haven't read them, please take a look. If there's any additions or corrections, and entertain a motion to approve them.
Motion to approve?
Okay? A motion, a second. Any motion, a second? Okay, okay, all right. It's a moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Okay, one thing, Ashley, did you know that you're the secretary?
Yeah, no, I just read that.
Okay, okay. I guess I forgot to call you. That's right, you missed the last meeting, and that's what happens when you don't.
That's what happens.
All right, so the minutes, if you can just, simple minutes, just, we don't take a lot of votes, just get the highlights of the meeting. That's all you got to do. All right, so I think we're going to go a little out of order because we have guests today from the Chestnut Foundation, and not to hold them up, I think I'm going to ask them, they're going to make a presentation. I had spoken to their organization about a month ago, went out to see them at their offices in North Asheville, and told them we had a member who has passed. His name is Brad Hester, who had a great interest in chestnut trees. And out of respect to him and in his memory, we wanted to get a chestnut tree program going in Montreat. I don't know a lot of the history. Somebody at the table may know the history of the chestnut tree in Montreat. I do know we tried some hybrid chestnut trees. They didn't make it, either before or after the storm. But we are very interested. We have some space available in Montreat where if we get to that point where maybe we could start to grow over them, I don't know exactly. But part of our mission also is education to our residents. So in addition to a planning program, education is an important part of our mission as a tree board. So I know, being at your office, you guys had a lot of wonderful literature on the chestnut trees. So with that, I'm going to call you up. Just, you got to come up, identify yourself, speak into the mic, and the program is yours.
Okay, is this on?
Yes.
But you guys can hear, I think.
Yeah, but it's being recorded.
Oh, it's being recorded. I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good morning. Thank you for having us. I'm John Chastain. I'm the Director of Development with the American Chestnut Foundation.
And I'm Angus Mullis McCord. I'm the Donor Engagement Officer at the American Chestnut Foundation.
You said the donor?
Donor Engagement Officer.
Donor engagement, okay.
So we work on the development team. We do everything from fundraising events to educational events to gift processing. So we rely 100% on donations and philanthropic work for the organization to survive. A little bit about the organization's history. Been around almost 44 years now. We're headquartered currently in Asheville, North Carolina. Our main research farm is up in Meadowview, Virginia, which is just north of Abingdon off of Interstate 81. We have under 200 acres there, so it's where we're doing a lot of our crossbreeding research and work, but we also are partnered with many universities throughout the United States, including University of Georgia, Virginia Tech, Penn State. We have 16 chapters. Some are incorporated, some are unincorporated, with over 5,000 members, spanning basically from Mississippi to Maine. We have a pretty strong North Carolina, South Carolina, or chapter of the Carolinas currently. But I'll tell you a little bit about the tree. You guys probably know the history of the tree. Roughly 1904, early 1900s, a blight was introduced through New York through an Asian or a Chinese chestnut tree, which unknowingly to those folks who brought that over, spread and decimated almost 4 billion trees by 1950, American chestnut trees. American chestnuts were sometimes referred to as the sequoias of the East, large, huge, grand trees. Their hardwood was phenomenal. They provided food sources for humans, for animals, and just habitats in general. So what we're currently doing, we're trying to bring back the American chestnut tree to its native range as close to 100% of its genetics as possible. So I'll let Angus talk a little more about the science, and we can answer any questions or anything you guys might have as well.
Yeah. So a little bit about the tree itself. If you look at the range map of an American chestnut compared to a lot of other really common eastern hardwood trees, it's a lot more narrow. So it's very specifically an Appalachian tree. It grows in the Appalachian Mountains and doesn't really grow a whole lot of other places, and that's because it has a really specific site requirement. It likes steep slopes and acidic soils, and so kind of one of the most prevalent areas of the American chestnut was the southern Appalachian Mountains. And if you look at logging records of Montreat, in some forests, half of the trees around Montreat were American chestnut. It wasn't that common all along its range, but especially in the southern Appalachian Mountains, this tree was one of the most common trees, and that's kind of a big reason why there's so many people who support this tree in our foundation, is because of the importance of this tree. So we're trying to bring back this tree to function in the ecosystem out in the forest like it used to. And there's a couple of ways to do that, but the main research area that we are working on is creating populations of American chestnut that are disease resistant. So an American chestnut is extremely susceptible to this fungus, and so what'll happen, you'll have lots of American chestnuts. Like you could go on top of graybeard and see little American chestnut sprouts, but they don't get hardly bigger than that. There's 10% of American chestnuts left, but over 90% of those are like less than 2 inches in diameter. So you don't have big trees anymore, but you have little trees, and what'll happen, they'll grow up and they'll get killed by the blight. The top of it will get killed by the blight, and it'll die back down, and then it'll keep resprouting. And so the chestnut blight doesn't kill the roots of the fungus, but there's another pathogen in the south that is called Phytophthora root rot, and it kills the root of the tree. So especially in the south, we've got 2 major diseases, and there are Asian chestnuts that evolved with the chestnut blight fungus. So they aren't as susceptible to the disease as American chestnuts are. They have tools in their toolkit that help them resist wall-off, form better, they heal better. It's very similar to when settlers came over to North America, and they had more resistance to smallpox, and then a lot of the natives got wiped out by smallpox. It's a very similar idea to that. And so what we're doing is we're taking the Chinese chestnuts and Japanese chestnuts, and we breed them with the American chestnuts. And we've been doing this for 40 years, so we have this this population of chestnuts across the range that we now have regionally diversified chestnut populations with a little bit of Asian ancestry. So what that means is there's distinct, like a chestnut from Alabama is not going to have the same ancestry as a chestnut from Maine, and so we want to make sure that whenever we reintroduce resistant chestnuts, they're from their own geographic region. So we have regionalized populations of chestnuts that have anywhere from 70 to 100% American ancestry and some range of Chinese ancestry. And so within the past like 7 to 10 years, genotyping has been really, has gotten a lot more affordable. So what that means is kind of like if you've done Ancestry DNA, you can like read your ancestry. And that has helped us design a new breeding program. So within the past 2 years, we've started a new breeding program. You mentioned you had some hybrid chestnuts
I think so, is that
from
correct?
before.
We had some chestnuts planted a couple of years ago, before the storm, for sure.
Yeah,
Back here, went over here. I don't think they did very well.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think there's one left. I
So
think there's one left that's ailing.
Ailing? Okay, got it.
yeah, yeah. So those come from kind of the previous breeding plan, which uses it was used a little bit more a little bit more American ancestry than the current breeding program, because there was an idea that the number of genes that impacted blight resistance was smaller than it actually is. So with a little bit more research into the genetics and a better model, we have a new breeding program. And so we're really hopeful for this new breeding program. We're planting out what are called progeny tests. So in order to verify which families of chestnut are good to keep selecting for, so we plant out these tests and we inoculate them with the fungus, and then we come back 4 or 5 years later and look at the trees and see which trees do really well, which trees don't, and then we keep selecting from those families. And kind of like any dog breeding or plant breeding, you keep doing recurrent selection, and that makes improvements over each generation. And so this is the first generation of this genomic selection, where we have a better genomic model for our breeding program. So the kind of the main need for planting sites that we have is for these progeny tests. We also do plenty of like outreach plantings, like probably the ones that were done previously. So outreach plantings are a little bit smaller in size. If anybody's interested in a progeny test, which is that science planting, those are at least an acre in size for that to be kind of statistically sound. So, yeah.
Can you excuse me, can you give us a description of an ideal progeny site that,
Yeah.
aside from an acre?
So like I said before, American chestnuts they are mountain trees. So they do not grow very well in anywhere that's flat. So if it's by a river or they need a slope. They'll grow on a ridge top or a steep slope. Out in the wild, I usually find them in like south-facing slopes. Anywhere where you find like chestnut oaks or mountain laurels, that's going to be where you're going to want to plant a chestnut. You're not going to want to plant a chestnut where there are sycamores or like other river trees, like black walnut or black willow, anything like that. You're probably not going to want to plant a chestnut.
So you know Montreat, I asked you. Do we have those types of sites around here?
Yeah.
Okay,
And like I said, Montreat actually has some of the highest historical records of American chestnut density in the world.
In the world?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's-
So
that's
some of
fascinating.
the most
What was the thing, the highest, what did you say?
highest number of highest density of chestnuts.
In the
So-
world?
Yeah, one of, like,
One of them.
records
That's good.
that we have,
Wow.
historical records. Like,
Wow.
there's some historical records where there's logging records of every other tree was an American chestnut.
So having
So-
said that, how could we follow up on that?
Yeah,
with
so,
you guys?
we'd always be happy to do some more outreach plantings, maybe at some better trees, and maybe at a better site. And then we're always open to partnering with,
Okay.
if you want to do a progeny test, if you want to
We
do
definitely want to.
a bigger planting.
That's a definite.
Then that'll help our breeding program,
Wow.
so we can figure out which trees to select. And that's kind of our main need for planting sites right now.
That sounds very exciting for us.
So they can be planted in what is now forest with mountain laurel and, I don't know what's up there, sourwoods, tulip trees, all this kind of stuff. They will grow as an understory tree until they get big enough?
Yeah, so out in the wild right now, they will grow in the understory, but the chestnut blight kills
Yeah.
them down before they can get to a tall tree. So we do reintroduction plantings with some of our partners in the Forest Service, but currently for like a progeny test, we need sites that are in full sun and kind of more orchard-like. So yeah, we'll do reintroduction plantings out in the woods, but for a progeny test, we need like a full
Okay.
sun orchard site.
So there's two different possibilities.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do the progeny sites need to be pretty accessible?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the other thing. For a progeny site test, it needs deer protection and accessibility, and then maintenance is the other thing. So like maintaining the weeds. It's an acre of tightly spaced trees, and we try to, in order to see what trees are doing well because of genetics and what trees are doing well because they're planted in a good site. You have to plant the same families of trees across lots of different sites. And so we kind of try to standardize the environment as best as we can, and then plant it on lots of sites so then we can see, okay, this family is really good, or this family doesn't have blight resistance.
So are the progeny sites, is the objective with those to test the varietals and make sure, or identify which ones are best suited? Or
Yeah.
is it to, and like, will they stay there? Like, you all leave them there long-term? Or is it
Yeah.
temporarily they're going to be replanted someplace else? Or
Yeah, so we have a few kind of centralized seed orchards that are for long-term seed production. And then these progeny sites take those same families and plant them somewhere, and then we inoculate them with the blight. So some of them are going to die, and then some of them will stay and continue. And the ones that are really big and do really well, you can use those for nut production or continued breeding.
And are they capable of being moved once they've been established, or is
Oh,
it?
no, they've got a deep taproot. So once
Got
you
it.
plant a chestnut, you're not going to want to
Okay.
move it.
We have a site, because you mentioned it has to be a slope or a mountain.
Mhm.
We do have a site in Montreat,
Mhm.
but it's flat,
Yeah,
so that won't
But
work.
it is full sun.
yeah.
It gets full sun, but it's flat.
I mean,
We can show it to
Well,
you later.
We
Yeah.
can make it hilly.
yeah. The biggest thing is if it's well drained or not.
Yeah.
And
I
so
don't
if
know
it's,
it is or isn't.
if it's right by a river, it's probably not super.
No, it's not by river.
Okay.
We'll get to
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
but that's okay.
I mean, they'll grow on ridge tops that are kind of flat, but
Right, okay.
yeah. But then also, other than progeny testing, we're always, it's always super helpful to have just the word out. A lot of people used to know about chestnuts and eat chestnuts, but not that many people know about chestnuts anymore. So just having some like outreach plantings is also super helpful, and having some just getting the word out about the importance of this tree
Sure.
is always
So
just
that's part of
super
our
helpful.
mission to the education.
Yeah.
But you said something which is amazing, that historical records show that Montreat had, HAD,
Mhm.
had one of the highest concentrations of chestnuts in the world.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's pretty profound.
yeah. So
All
it's,
right, that's something to follow up on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know, we'll just mention it now. So on April 11th, if you would mark your calendars, there's going to be an informational day, native plant type
Cool.
exhibit thing, and we would love to invite y'all to come and
Yeah.
have a table there and give out information. It would be up, I think you've participated in the past. It's up, table's up just below the lake in Montreat, and it's open to the public, and it'll get advertised.
I'll get you
So
the information.
people would
Mhm.
walk by. Yeah, we can.
remember that date. It's
cool.
Okay,
on the 10th, so.
yeah.
So, yeah, Saturday the 11th for, I don't know, 4 hours midday type
Okay,
thing. So we'll nail down more details and
And I'll talk
coordinate
to you
with
more
it
about
later,
that-
but,
That historical thing about that.
Mhm.
Because our residents, when they hear that we had one of the highest concentrations of chestnuts in the world, that'll just send them.
Yeah, yeah. I'll get Jamie to send
Fantastic.
me.
We'll have to get some of that information.
Yeah. Our regional science coordinator. I'll get her to send me the paper that, or the logging
Yes.
record that says that.
Because our people are very oriented towards anything history.
Yeah.
So that's really a great quality.
yeah.
To add one of the other ideas that I had, we were he's talking about his outreach plannings.
Yeah, for sure.
Could we do, at the Land Care Festival,
Sure.
could we do the planting and do a proclamation for
Yeah.
Brad there?
I think so. I think it's all
What-
has great possibilities, because this is more in-depth than I thought. This is great.
Yeah.
What
Great
time of
presentation.
year is ideal for chestnut planting in this part of the world?
Spring or fall.
Okay.
Just
Okay,
not
just-
like
sorry.
in the middle of winter or the middle of
Perfect.
summer.
Okay, great.
Go to the
So many
biology, what you tell
possibilities.
me, always look at the biology.
Okay,
Um,
a lot of
Yeah.
follow-up here, which
So-
would be great. Yeah, good.
So
Any
we're-
other questions for?
Yeah, so are y'all more into the whole, CRISPR and genome testing and stuff like that with trying to advance? Because otherwise, I assume it takes several years before a chestnut would either be hit by the blight or create fruit,
Yeah.
to have burrs and stuff.
Yeah, so there's, so one thing, this is a very long-term mission, and regardless of how resistant one tree is, having a population of disease-resistant trees that are genetically diverse and actually representative of the trees that are on the landscape takes a really long time. And so it's definitely going to take a long time. The gene editing is, it's more expensive than the breeding, and it actually takes longer because there's a lot more government regulation. And then once you have a genetically engineered tree, you have to breed it with a genetically diverse population. So it's kind of like a tangent side project. Not a lot of the main resources get devoted to research like that, but we're sending out a request for proposals for if any researchers have a really good idea or proposal, if we're interested in funding that, that's kind of the plan. But we had a research advisory committee of like a lot of experts in plant breeding and resistance and genetics, and they all endorsed recurrent genomic selection, which is our newest breeding program.
How long does it take for a chestnut to create burrs?
Yeah, so we have
About?
it takes like 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
But we have a new greenhouse in Meadowview, Virginia, that is set up to do speed breeding. So if you put a chestnut in a really big pot, give it lots of fertilizer, and put grow lights on it for like 14 hours a day, you can get it to flower in a year.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay. Oh, that helps a
that-
lot.
yeah.
Otherwise, 7 to 10 years of generation would be
Well,
a
and then
very
with
long project timeline.
I may
Yeah.
not be here.
With our like genetic testing, we can now test a seedling with its genetics, screen it, and like have a blight resistance prediction.
Oh.
And so we could predict a seedling's blight resistance, grow it up, make it flower, and then predict that seedling's blight resistance without even having to test it in the field. Now, the progeny testing is super important for like validating the model every year, but that's definitely an option and an avenue that we're going down, is that speed breeding process.
Okay. Is there, I know there's a chestnut down, I live on this slope of the valley, which is actually mostly north-facing, and I know that there's at least 2 chestnuts up in there that keep, I guess, resprouting or
Yeah.
something. Anyway, is there any information about how prevalent this kind of resprouting is in the valley, or is that something that's of interest?
Yeah, so we're always looking for chestnuts that are making burrs. We always incorporate wild pollen and nuts into our breeding program. So if there's a big chestnut tree, we always want to know about that. We have we have a database, an internal database. Anytime somebody submits a sample to us, which will identify that for free and put it in our database. And then we also encourage people to use TreeSnap, which is an app that we have access to the locations of the trees that people submit. And so if people find wild trees out in the woods, if they log it or send us a sample, then we'll get it in our database, and then we can use it for future breeding.
I think we have a chestnut. Alice, we have a resident who,
Yeah, that's the one down the
is that what
street
you're
from
talking
me.
about? That's
That's
kind of what
one
got
of
me
them.
started again, contacting you guys.
Oh, cool.
Residents came to us, said, you guys came out, identified on our property a chestnut tree.
Yeah,
I don't
cool.
know if it's this high or it's really,
Yeah.
I don't have any idea.
Hmm. Yeah, they're still out here, and
They're out here. They're actually still on tree.
yeah,
Okay,
yes,
great.
they're definitely still out here.
Oh,
They're
that's a
just
good one to go out
not.
and look for.
They're
big
just little,
trees
yeah,
anymore.
they're little sprouts.
Yeah, they
sprout.
get 20, 30 feet tall, and then they die back down,
Oh,
and then they keep resprouting.
but they get 20, 30 feet and then they die.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
There's some really good examples of Chinese chestnut trees at Beaver Lake in North Asheville. Right when you go, so if you were to park where the bird sanctuary is and take the path, right when you enter in the loop there on the left, there's 3 really pretty large sized Chinese chestnut trees that we do some pollinating with and those sorts of things. But yeah.
Yeah, and Chinese chestnuts, they'll get big because the blight will hit them and they're fine.
But
So,
yeah, they kind of grow like broccoli crowns. They don't grow tall, straight, and grand.
yeah.
Well, any other questions for Amos, and a couple of questions for you? Tremendous possibilities. We'll do the rest of it following.
great.
But tremendous. I think that you guys would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
So grateful for the invitation.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
opportunity to
thanks.
work with you guys. So
Right.
we've got some of these. They're called Biltmore sticks. They're actually made out of reclaimed chestnut wood. But you can sort of measure diameters of trees by seeing there's a whole instruction back here. So I'll leave those for you guys.
Leave with the members.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
so I'll leave those.
Oh,
And
Thank you.
some
Thank
information
you.
on the organization, about our membership, and one of our most recent magazines. So
Right. So in terms of the education, which is important, the education, what other outreach do you have for education for our community? I know
Well,
you have a lot of nice pamphlets, because I collected them all, but you actually do live presentations and things like that?
we do. Yeah, we have regional outreach coordinators. One, she lives here in the southeast, Hannah Leeper. She's out of our national office.
Okay.
So she's doing a lot of that work. We're actually in the process, we hope within a year from now, we're going to release some video shorts for teachers to present in the classroom. So we're working with some donors on that to create those video shorts.
Right.
We currently have a really good documentary called Clear Day Thunder, which you can access through our website, but it's about an hour-long sort of documentary on the tree and what we're doing and that sort of thing. Some pretty, Dolly Parton's in there. She's a big, advocate of ours. Jimmy Carter was. So yeah, we've got a lot of great folks in that
So
documentary.
you have programs, which we'll talk about.
We do,
Okay.
yeah, we absolutely do.
The other thing I'll let you guys think about, we live in a community where we have some donors.
Mm-hmm,
And these ladies, Ashley, just did a hemlock tree, and we raise money within our community.
mm-hmm.
So if that would give us any more opportunities,
Yes,
that we can
absolutely.
raise some of our own money.
Yeah.
And see, okay, guys, thank you, now we can go to work, because we've got our donors as well.
That's wonderful. Thank you, yeah.
Elizabeth and Ashley did a tremendous hemlock tree program.
The woolly
here.
doldrum, yeah.
So keep
yeah.
that in mind, and when we
Yeah.
talk off the record, so to speak, or off the meeting,
Thank you,
we
yeah.
have the resources here.
Yeah, we'd love the opportunity to bring,
Yes.
do some programming and those sorts of things, so just let us know. And I don't know
Yes.
how affiliated you are with the college, that sort of thing, but,
Yes.
if there's
I think we are,
opportunities there.
correct, Elizabeth? We're
Okay.
close with the college, right?
Yeah, we try to liaise with the college
Right,
on
right,
different
right,
topics, and
right.
they do have different, programs
Yeah.
going on. They work with Hemlock stuff. I don't know if they've worked with y'all or not.
Yeah, we haven't really done much work with Montreat that I'm aware of, but yeah, some of these like Mars Hill and other schools would be great to do some more work with
Okay,
them.
a lot of possibilities.
Yeah,
That's a good possibility.
well, we'll be in touch, and
For
if you guys
sure.
have any questions, I'll leave a card there too, so if you
Okay,
guys want to reach out, but
Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
thank you so much for your
Yes.
time.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you. Thanks for all you're doing.
Thank you, yes.
All righty. All right, so I hope you guys didn't mind we went out of order.
No, it's great.
Yeah. We'll see you later. Have a good night. Thank you, bye-bye.
Thank you.
I-
No need for them to say.
I know,
that.
better use of their time.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of possibilities, don't you?
Yeah.
Tremendous. Okay.
And I like the idea of using the plot of land as
Yeah, yeah.
maybe, just letting them take it over. and
Yes,
they
for
can
sure.
manage it
We'll
and
talk
call it
about it.
Chestnut Park,
Right.
and people can,
Right.
visit if they want to, put a picnic bench in there.
Yeah, no, and if the tree board is going to sponsor that use of that land, then this is trees, and that fits with
Right.
what our purpose
Right.
is. And it
Okay.
also,
Right.
it also kind of addresses any concerns that the neighbors have about people coming and going, or
Right.
that becoming, it's town land, so theoretically, the town could put a gazebo there for people to do whatever with,
Right.
which probably would not be as popular with
Right.
those residents. So,
Right.
that kind of, this would be, tree growing is pretty slow.
Yes.
Right, and the overall consensus, my understanding is that the residents around there's only one full-time resident that's there.
Is that true? I didn't know that. Okay.
But the consensus around that area is, they don't want a lot of people
No,
there,
right.
right? And so,
Yeah.
none of us would. And so,
Right.
I think having this as
Yeah.
This is perfect.
a Chestnut Park would be
And-
lovely.
Yeah, wow, that would be
Space.
great. And the other thing is, they do a lot of the work. They come prepared.
Yeah.
They've got the staff, and they've got a budget, and they've got the resources and the monies, and yes.
Well, and I believe you said in the past, it has access to water there. Did I get that wrong?
There
Or
is
is there a
water, there's a
pump?
big water tank. I don't know exactly how it gets filled, but there's a
Okay.
huge water tank still on that property.
Interesting.
From what I understood, they had jerry-rigged a system that involved running a power cord from one of the houses that's
Oh,
there
is that what it was? Okay.
to pump water into
Got
a
it.
tank.
Right.
But, now with a little, a Ford F-150 has enough power on it probably to run a pump for as long as, and I think they were
Okay.
trying to pipe so that they would catch rainwater to come in and fill the tank or something, because then you'd have it, it'd be like a catchment basin type thing.
Sure.
So, and I don't know that chestnuts would require the same amount of water that, say, like a vegetable garden.
Right.
So
And then-
your needs on what you're growing impact that.
I love it.
So I don't know how much infrastructure is left, but there is town access. You don't have to go through anybody's property to get to that
Well,
plot. There is a slight,
There is a
one access
right-of-way.
path. There's a
It's on the
right-of-way.
map, but I think the right-of-way's been taken over by one of the property owners as part of their front lawn.
Well, that's,
You know what
okay,
I'm
that's
saying?
a,
We appreciate them caring for that part of the
Yeah,
property.
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
We do the same thing on our property.
Right.
There's town land right next to my house, and we take care of it.
There you go, right. All right, so I'll do follow-up with these guys, and at the next meeting, if not before, we'll keep this going.
yeah, no, I think it could be interesting, and if we could, there's all kinds of different things, you know, whether the college would want to get involved
Right.
with chestnuts, or even like the rangers that go out hiking all the time, you know, the summer they do a weekly hike. If we could say, hey, if y'all happen to see chestnuts on your walks, would you please geolocate them for us? Because they're out there anyway, you know,
I'm
so.
interested in that tree snap you mentioned as well.
I
need to
use
check it out.
Plant Snap, but I think it's similar.
Okay.
I'll show you mine.
All right, so that's.
Cool.
That's it for them. All right, so let's get into the old business here. Elizabeth, treasure tree activities, which I know there are a lot of them.
So Treasure Tree, there's a new version of the map. The one that I took to the town council that got, it was actually an older version where I hadn't formatted my little block well enough. So anyway, so I resent it. So hopefully that we'll publicize this one, and then I'm sure there'll always be errors. And anyway, so there's a treasure tree walk. It's being led by Jason Nance and Nancy Midget on October 29th at 3:30. There's also a Rhodes Scholar in town that, at that time, and I think they wanted to advertise it to them, which is fine. I think they just want to guarantee that there's somewhat of a group to go on the walk. I know that people have seemed very excited about the fact that we've tried to redo one, but as y'all read through this or use it, if there are corrections or additions, we as a board can certainly make a new version, you know, and improve it. I did send this to LaRonda?
I was just thinking about.
At LaRonda
Right,
at the
Treasure-
Swanano Valley Tree Alliance,
Right.
because the old version is posted on their site, which now references a tree that no longer is in the program, 2 bridges that no longer exist,
Right.
and has a lot of private information about so-and-so and so-and-so live in this house. So I've asked her to pull that one down and replace it with this one. So we'll just have to follow up.
I'll follow up with
She
her.
isn't always as
I know.
responsive
I
as
know.
some. Anyway, so we have a tree walk plan, we have a new flyer. I think this kind of parallels how the the Presbyterian Heritage Center does their flyers. It's now a normal size piece of paper instead
Beautiful.
of 11 by 8.5 by 14. And then it's got the QR code. The Nature Center, maybe we can post one copy there, because then if it's on their bulletin board, people can use the QR code and go by themselves. And so this opens up another use of basically Elizabeth's Path and the trail, which is a walk that not everybody wants to go hike Pinnacle and back. So this is a different audience.
Well,
Okay.
You've done a lovely job of
Beautiful.
updating this. I mean,
Yes.
this is amazing. So,
You've taken it to another level.
But yes, there's always, please let me know what could be further improved, and we'll come up with yet another version. Anyway, so the treasure tree seems fine. Because I was at the town council meeting, I mentioned this just to kind of throw out some publicity. People were very excited about a new map and a new treasure tree. And one of the council members would like to add a tree to the program.
Right, yeah.
I mistakenly gave him the wrong price, but he's willing to pay for it. I tried to locate the tree that he was talking about, and I found a large black gum at the site where he seemed to be describing a sourwood wood, but maybe that's my tree identification skills. I am not good at identifying trees by bark, because now they're starting to lose leaves. But I'm just because of doing this walk and talking about the treasured trees, we may have others in town who want to nominate trees as treasured trees, because it's just bringing the topic back up again. And I think as a board or as a town, we need to say how many, is there a policy on how many trees can be in the program, or does it matter now? It did before,
Yes,
but
and
does it now?
I can answer that question.
Okay.
So the town is a little nervous about having too many plaques around the town. What people want to do on their own property, I think, is up to them. So I think your suggestion that if there are residents that have a tree on their property that want to see that can be part of the program, I don't think the town cares or has any much influence on that. So I think that's something to pursue, and it's a good raise, and we could raise a little bit of money that way as well. It costs us $50 for them to come out and put up a plaque, and then we usually charge $100. Okay? So Commissioner Dasher, who I think we're talking about,
Yeah.
he hasn't contacted me.
Okay.
But I don't make the decision. The people at the Swananoa Valley Tree Alliance come out with their professionals, and they make a decision if it's, yeah, it's a beautiful tree, but it's not historical, it's not a treasure tree. Actually, we did a number of trees over in Virginia. These people thought they had the greatest tree in the world, and they turned them down.
Okay.
I mean, they've turned a lot of people down in Montreat already.
What are the parameters of,
They have a criteria, which is on their website,
okay?
and it's a little subjective, but it's not just it's a beautiful tree. It goes way beyond it's a beautiful tree. Some of
So
them
I
aren't, some of them
think-
that got nominated weren't even native. And that alone, you're out. That's an immediate disqualification, okay?
Okay. So I believe the one that he's interested in nominating would be on public land.
Okay.
Because it's close to the road. And I can't imagine that that's not
Okay.
in the right-of-way from the road.
Right. I
Or if
think
it's, not unless I'm misunderstanding what you do.
when we first did the program, as you know, we had 14 trees involved, of which I think 10 were on right-of-way, and the other 4 were on private. And the town was fine with that. In fact, Commissioner Blake, he actually sponsored 5 trees for his family members. I don't think we do one by one, it's going to be much of a problem this time. We
Okay.
come back with another group of 14 plaques, they're not going to be happy on
Well,
town right-of-way.
what I find is that if you put a timeline on something, then you may have people respond to it. So
Yes.
If we say, there's, for the 2026 year, all trees need to be nominated by December 31st.
I like that.
And then we will have
Right.
a cluster, so to speak, that can be evaluated when they come out, so they're not coming out for one tree.
There you go, you're 100% right.
And then, we make that announcement that we'll be accepting
Yes.
new applications for treasured trees
Yeah.
until the end of the year, and then we know what we're going to be doing in '26.
Yeah, now, the other thing is,
I
I
like
think
that.
that's a great idea, and that's what we should, that's what we should do, because they do come out, and they like to do a group at a time. The other thing is, they do them when they're, got all their leaves on them. They just don't come out and the leaves are already down.
Okay.
So it's gonna have to be done soon, or maybe we have to wait till the spring.
Spring.
Yeah,
Spring, okay,
we're-
spring, you're
we're
right. So-
25%
So we
down.
have time on that, but that's the time they like to come out, is when the trees are in full bloom, and everything looks alive, and that's, they call it the crown, I guess, is that the right word?
Well, so I would assume that, so March and April is really when things start
I think
coming
so,
out.
yeah.
So if we say, January 31st is our deadline for people to nominate, and then they'll be evaluated at this point, and then they'll be accepted into the program in the summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Just a simple timeline so people
I think you're right
understand.
about that. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
Um,
and that kind of solves too, because I didn't want to promise Councilman Dash or anything, because it's like, well, there may be more than one nomination, I don't know how it works.
Right.
I don't know if it would be in the program, so, it's like, yes, we'll take nominations, and then, I like it, I like the timeline,
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
Plus, I want to thank Elizabeth, because you've really taken this program to a whole different level. When I first started the program, it was a one-and-done deal. But now you've really made it into an active program, very much part of the tree board's activity, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, tremendous. Thank
Lots
you.
of momentum behind it, so.
Tremendous momentum.
Got momentum,
Okay.
so
Anything else on the treasure tree? Okay. Activities. All right, so Ashley, want to talk about the hemlocks?
We
That's
have
also
been-
very busy.
We have been busy with hemlocks. So it was, I think, October 12th, no, today's the 13th, where am I?
Today's the 14th, I think.
On October 7th, 7th, Elizabeth, myself, and Ryan from Appalachian Tree Care spent about 6 to 8 hours treating the 15 trees. We found each one, he bored the holes, put the product in the tree, and then we'd go on to the next one, then we'd come back and get his equipment. It was fascinating. We learned that the side of the tree that has the sun pulls the product faster, which is because when you have 5 or 6 different tubes and the ones on this side are pulling it faster, literally the tree sucks this product into it, and it's fascinating. This product will be pulled up to the crown of the trees, and the trees support the new growth at the top of the tree in the springtime. And so we're hoping to see lots of new growth on these
So it's
trees.
going to be visible quickly.
It could be. It depends on how sad the tree is. We thought there was one tree that was not accepting the product at all. It was one of the first ones we did. Turns out it was on the cold side of the tree, and it was early. By the time we came back in the afternoon, it would have taken it all up. So each of the 15 trees have been marked with a yellow dot, And they've been completed, so excited about that. There is also the hemlock. There is an event going on Thursday, the Hemlock Identification Workshop, and this is being put on, I believe, by MRA. Is that correct?
I think at the college.
I think MRA is hosting it as the facility, and I believe it's HRI is involved with it, but I will be attending that to find out what they're sharing with us. So
I have a question. So all the things that you guys have started when you got involved in the program, are all these things kind of followed because of your activities? Because I never
Are they
heard
what?
about all these different activities with the MRA and with the college. Were they always doing their hemlock thing? But
I don't
we
know.
were
I don't
never-
know anything about this event except that I got an invitation to it, and I
Okay.
accepted the invitation. So I will be attending. I signed up for it,
Right.
and I'm just going to learn more about who's involved in this process.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
I have been unable to source any information on the MRA treatments that occurred within the last 3 years on their trees. I'm still working on that. I have been successful in moving my license from Georgia to North Carolina for the hemlock treatments. I have 4 proposals going out today with my commitment that 10% of whatever is earned will go back to the town for public land treatments.
You mean for private owners?
Yes.
Oh, within Monterey?
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
Yes,
great.
so it's approximately 4 trees per property. So starting that process and starting to share with folks about
Okay.
the fact that it's available. It is not the injection process.
Right.
It is the soil drench process. And so I've been able to source my products and that kind of thing. So that will be probably happening the last week of October where those trees will be treated.
Let me just add to what you're saying. We talked about having residents having the ability to call the town and say, I've got some hemlocks, I need them looked at. I know they do it for tree removal. Like we want a tree brought down, you can call the office and Angie will tell you, well, here are 2 or 3 people we know we work with and they're safe and they're insured.
Sure,
So that's something you would like to happen at,
absolutely.
you would?
Yeah,
Okay.
that is,
I'll find out the procedure.
Okay.
So they call, and then we can advertise if people need their hemlocks checked.
Mhm.
We have preferred vendors. We can't, as I understand it from Tom Whitmer, Commissioner Whitmer, we're not allowed to say, we'll call Ashley. But we could, there's a way to say it.
I understand.
Okay, all right.
And I will be very frank, of the 4 properties that I looked at last week, there was one property who had, dead as a doornail hemlocks. And so I'm not coming forward and saying, treat every single one. I'm helping the homeowner
Right,
evaluate
Right, you don't,
the cost-benefit analysis of is this really going to be worthwhile in treating this tree? And so, according to Ryan, trees under 4 inches in diameter are not worth treating yet. So once a tree reaches a 4.5 inch diameter to 5 inches, when you can actually start applying the product to them.
gotcha. All right, good.
And let's see what else. So going forward for public lands, we need to determine how many funds we have. We need to work with someone on Margot's team and probably Joe to go and now start figuring out, what's the next round of treatments that we need to have performed.
And when would that start again? Next spring, summer?
We can do treatments all the way up through probably the end of April. And so the next round of identification of at-risk trees,
On town right away?
yes.
Okay,
Public,
gotcha.
public land trees.
Yeah, right.
So the identification treatment can take place through this winter season.
Okay.
But April's probably the last point that we want to do any treatments.
Okay, got you. And that's pretty much the same thing you guys did last summer? Same, just
Yes.
year number 2?
Well, and the nice thing though is that because of my licensing piece, we can, we don't have to have as many representatives from HRI if they want to come, but it costs them money to bring all those folks. And so we'll have the ability to do more with less, I guess is the right way
I
to say it.
got you. We're getting, yeah, I get it. Excellent.
So my next 3 months are very busy, so I don't know that I will be tackling any additional public land treatments, but my focus will be on the fundraising at this point.
Fundraising?
Mhm.
Okay, and that, what form is that going to take?
In the form of myself raising funds.
Oh,
Through my private work.
Oh, through your private work,
Mhm,
okay.
Through my private work.
Which is
raising the
separate from what
funds.
we do.
Sorry?
Separate from what we're going to be doing.
We can do whatever we need to do.
Right, exactly.
So,
Okay.
But my understanding is that when we did the treatment in April, I think we contributed several $1,000s to,
Well,
1,500,
Elizabeth raised the
I think it
money.
was about 1,500 that we,
Which
that we
came from
jumped
private
in and.
donors.
Right.
It came from private donors, not from the town.
right.
We have a
So,
little bit of money in our tree board account, and it's in the hundreds of dollars.
but my understanding is HRI matched whatever we
Yes.
brought to the table.
Correct.
Yeah, it was a cost share.
Mhm.
It was a
And
cost
so-
share, and the big cost was their staff.
Right.
The chemicals were not that much, so,
It was
Well,
their
and now
labor, right? Their labor.
yeah, their staff time to come here
Staff
and do
time.
it, to supervise, because they could supervise teams.
Mm-hmm.
But now supposedly the people who participated are more trained,
And we have
loosely
you
said,
now.
you know,
Well,
but they
and I-
still have to work under a supervised
Right. And I can
applicator.
source the product now. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
even,
Good.
so, and then I can go to my manufacturers and say, would you like to donate the product,
Right,
right?
right, exactly.
So there's lots of opportunities for.
Right, that we didn't have last time.
Yeah, so
Gotcha. Okay.
I think we can be more efficient and get more trees treated with probably less
Yeah.
cost.
Okay, so I have two questions. Number one, so we need to get into some type of identification mode.
Yes.
Okay, that's one. And two, how do you follow up and see if what you did last spring, summer is in fact working? Is it too early to go back and check these trees?
It's too early
Too
now,
early?
and
When does that happen?
so in April, when the new
April.
growth comes.
Oh, okay.
um,
April, we can go back and check what we did last year.
We can. Really what we're looking at is for tree health, and all of those trees were pretty sad when we treated them. So any new growth is fantastic, and what you're looking for is the tips of the
Tips, okay.
branches to be bright green.
You know. Did you guys take pictures?
A few. Mhm.
Okay, good. So you
Yeah,
have
Elizabeth
some
took some pictures.
comparison.
It's
Okay,
already
great.
been, the 15 trees, that's,
Right, that's
Elizabeth's been
15.
put that up on Facebook.
Yeah. But the 120 trees you guys did.
Oh, yes, yeah, there were
Yeah.
trees,
Pictures.
there
And-
was a whole presentation.
So,
on that.
Okay.
so probably the best thing to do in terms if you really want to assess would be that the HRI staff would come out because they geolocated and made notes on
Okay.
each tree and what it looked like.
Okay.
And they would come out probably just because they're HRI and, you know, run through and look again.
Okay.
You know,
And-
they do it,
That's their job.
you know, like this. That's,
Gotcha.
that, they're the
Okay.
ones who could
And
technically
our
say.
resident expert is Joe. So
Yeah.
Joe,
Joe
for
is the
sure.
best person to do that
Right.
identification,
Right.
work with HRI.
Great.
And he,
Yeah, and the geolocating thing.
yeah, he's got the geolocator on his phone or on his device, and so,
Fantastic. It's just it's
so
really
we'll ask him to.
in-depth program now, other than running out and putting chemicals in the ground. It's really an in-depth program.
Oh, absolutely.
Beautiful.
Absolutely, yeah.
Beautiful.
And I want to brag on Ashley because she's the one that worked with Ryan Franks to get him to come out and spend his time and use his equipment to donate that to the town. And then he, in turn, I think, went to ArborJet and they donated the chemicals. And so that's all really, really thanks to Ashley. It would have been a huge expense for the town that would have required massive fundraising. I don't know, $5,000, probably easily,
Yeah, but
that was donated that day, you know, and then our assistance of like helping him
Right, right.
carry his stuff around was pretty minimal, you know, it's his time and his equipment and
I mean,
the
the-
donation of the chemicals.
the
Can
one,
we-
bo-
So,
the one-
thanks.
Thank you. The one bottle of chemical that he used was $400.
Wow.
So, I mean, it is definitely an expensive
Can we get him a
exercise.
proper thank you from the town, signed by the mayor or something? Would that mean anything to him
Uh,
as an organization?
It would mean more to him to continue the referrals.
You could-
Okay,
well, and
so
he would
you'll
be
talk to
one.
me about that.
We want him to be a referral partner as well. And for trees, so the injection process is, I describe it as the Mercedes-Benz of hemlock treatments.
Wow.
It is absolutely something that anyone could do for their trees. My Uncle Bill Hollins, who was on the town council and also managed our family home for years, has treated all 11 of our hemlocks, which some of them I think are town hemlocks. But he's treated them with injections with Ryan for the past 15 years.
Okay.
So that's how I had the connection with Ryan. And now that I know more, I might be able to treat my trees differently. But the point is our trees look phenomenal after
do.
15 years
Well,
of working with them.
that's
So,
testimonial.
Yeah.
and so there may be residents who have, you know, what did Ryan call it, happy hemlock corners or something like that,
Yeah.
where clusters of hemlocks are growing.
Yeah.
And that if they would like to make that investment into the Mercedes-Benz of treatments, I think that's a lovely thing to do. It's not essential, but it's,
It makes a difference.
it does.
There you go.
And,
That's-
and probably like the trees that we treated that were along the creek, that were in environmentally fragile type areas for homeowners. There are a lot of creeks in certain parts of Montreat, so there are certain homeowners who may contact Ashley. Ashley may go out there and say,
Right.
you know, the town has Ashley and Ryan and whoever else on their list. They start with Ashley because she lives here.
Right.
She may say, oh, that one's really on a creek. I'm not drenching that. You need to move up to this other type treatment
Right.
if you want to treat that
Right.
tree. So
Okay.
which is where you know enough to do that, so,
It-
which is
the-
awesome.
We'll talk off,
So-
away from
Yeah.
the meeting,
Okay.
how we can keep going with this. with
Okay,
the residents.
so from my perspective, the next step is for Joe and HRI to help us identify more trees.
Right, I
That
got that.
are phase two, and then we
Right.
can go from there and,
Right.
you know, probably do a treatment. I mean, we can do it any time in the winter, but as we know, it gets cold here, so we
Okay.
can just decide when we want to do that.
I'm making my notes.
And
Okay,
would
great.
because we do the tree inventory, would the town arborist, the town staff know like where there's town tree? Because I don't know what's town right away and what's not necessarily. But up on the side streets and all that, would that be a thing that we could link into the town and the tree mapping and the tree, whatever? You know, they're out driving around doing work anyway.
I mean, Barry probably knows.
Barry may know where some pockets are.
There's very little spots that are town right away, but most of it's just private property that, like, across like Calvin Trail, that's all greenland, so it's hard to
Okay.
say if that,
One other option that we could think about for springtime, I've been working with Tanner at MRA, trying to identify what the parameters are needed in order to get up to the trees that are on the ridge line. My understanding, there are quite a few hemlocks up there that need treatment. Needless to say, hauling gallons of product up the mountain does not appeal to anyone. But there is a different format, a different formulation that there's tabs that can be pushed into the ground. But we would need Jason or someone to help us identify where those trees are, and
Yeah,
we could do a hemlock hike.
hemlock hike would be cool.
Yes,
Yeah,
so
too
many
bad it can't work in the
possibilities.
summer, but yeah.
Great.
Well,
That's cool, it's early spring. That's a cool idea,
All
too.
right.
So,
Okay,
Okay.
thank
Working
you,
on those
Ashley.
things.
Thank you so much. Fantastic. All right, the town website, I don't know, anything, I mean, Ann's not here, Elizabeth?
I
nothing.
actually talked with Gene Norris yesterday. I don't know about the town website.
Right.
I know that at some point we should probably, and maybe I can get with Ann and tackle our Montreat tree guide and go through and
Yeah.
update that, because I don't think it's ever been updated.
Right.
So I'm sure it's full of broken links and things. But then a lot of the hemlock information is actually on the land care site.
Mhm.
And because land care is not a town entity, it is separate from the town. They have their own kind of website that integrates with the town site, and they have their own web manager. So they're in the process of doing a major rework. But yesterday, Gene, the software person, the web tech or whatever, that they work with, he agreed to do some minor text updates, so the 2025 hemlock treatment is going to get pasted in, I mean, that's just a cut and paste,
I understand.
into the site. It's not a linked building, so that's
Right,
pretty
right.
minimal. So he's going to do that update, so at least the hemlock page on the land care site would be updated. But, you know, it's the internet, so it all
I
links
understand.
together. So
Right.
I didn't even realize that it wasn't all town-managed sites until I tried to update the text on one little page. So
Okay.
is that
Yeah, that's
too
good.
much
I mean, that's-
information? Does that
no,
make sense?
No, that makes sense, yeah,
And-
to me.
are there more pages for tree board that needs to be updated aside from the hemlock pages?
I'd have to
particular-
go back and look, and that's probably something we should look at, and
Yeah.
I don't know quite why, you know, and it's kind of a structural thing, like I wish on the tree board site that there was a thing that said hemlock information, and maybe it does, like, should it be on the tree board site, or should it be on the land care site, or does it even matter? because it's the internet, and
I don't think
is
it matters, and I
it
think
doesn't
as
matter.
long as both sites have links to each other,
There-
it doesn't
it's-
matter.
Right,
Yes.
right,
Because it's
you're right.
public, someone might not go to the town tree board site, but they might go to Landcatter, see all the different projects that are happening. and
Right.
this, so
Yeah.
I think they cross-pollinate.
They cross-pollinate, and if somebody Googles Montreat hemlocks, I want it to pop up. It doesn't matter whose site, who's hosting
Correct, I would
it.
agree, yeah.
Because that's what I did was Montreat hemlocks, that's how I found it, so.
Okay.
But yes, so some information is moving forward,
Yeah,
and other
that's
is
good.
TBD.
It's moving forward, that was the operative word, it's moving forward. Okay, great. I spoke to Ann about the Arbor Day and the way she explained it to me, and you may know this already, Elizabeth, she's going to want to be part of your, the October 29th date? Did she mention that to you?
Oh, no, she didn't.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to declare, so
Maybe.
we need to have an Arbor Day 2025?
Well, I'm not sure how that's going to work. I'll get into that in a minute with this Tree City situation. So this is what she had mentioned to me today, this morning.
Cool, that's fine.
So,
And you're going to have to update me, I'm not following.
well, we have we got the walk on October 29th.
Okay.
We've been planning an Arbor Day activity for 2025 for a number of months, but for circumstances, it just hasn't happened. And Ann has been in charge of that effort, and basically, it was going to come down to an informational type of situation. We were going to start at the post office, but that didn't happen, handing out pamphlets about Montreat, native plants, native invasive species, et cetera. It just didn't happen. So now we're down to October. I think she wants to at least have some type of a handout, at least on the October 29th, to kind of qualify us for a Tree City application, which we're going to get into. So it's not as extensive as I think we had planned on it, but there's always next year. And we want to do more of really an Arbor Day by itself, not part of another type of activity. So, does that, Elizabeth, does that
So
sound
it's-
right?
I think, Ashla, so Montreat is a Tree City USA. To remain qualified as that, you have to meet certain benchmarks,
Right.
I guess, annually, and one of them is to celebrate Arbor Day.
Right,
That didn't,
officially.
Arbor Day is in April, it didn't happen, like Ed said, for a variety of reasons. So if we just have to declare something as an Arbor Day celebration to
Right.
maintain our Tree City
Right.
designation, or, I don't know, we just beg forgiveness because it was Helene, and then we would tie next year, that plant sale on April 11th would tie in Arbor Day. So it's what has to happen for 2025 is
Fantastic.
is
I
the
think-
issue, I
My
think.
understanding is we had to make a proclamation.
We have to do all those things, you're
Yes.
right.
And so the proclamation can coincide with
Right.
our tree walk, is that,
That's fine with
I think
Yeah.
that's a lovely
We,
thing to
we
do.
can add whatever we want
Yeah,
to
it's
it
pretty-
because it
there-
is
yeah.
our treasured tree walk.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, I think that's a lovely idea to coordinate the two. It makes
Yeah.
perfect
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So,
So does that, does that make more sense
Yes.
now, big
Yes.
picture? Okay, so go back to Tree City. or
Okay, all
wherever you
right,
were
so we'll do
going.
Tree City now. So as I'm on the website now, and we did not have, we were not a Tree City in 2024.
Oh,
We never did an application because of the storm and never got submitted. If you go to our website, the Tree City the Arbor Day USA, Tree City is like one of their activities. We don't have an approved application for 2024.
okay.
Okay. So,
Get it done.
the applications are now open for 2025. They end December 31st. It
Okay.
has to be submitted by December 31st, is
Okay.
what I should say. So I've got some of the old records here. I am now on the website through password changes, because Brad was involved in it. And it's kind of an extensive application. I mean, in terms of a lot of questions, a lot of required information. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I mean, pages and pages. Here, annual planning and review sessions, your tree planning and initial care, your tree maintenance program, your tree removal program, your management, your public relations. I mean, it goes on and on and on. It's
Okay.
pretty involved. So I'm just getting into that now that I was able to get on the website. And I'll share with you probably before the next meeting where I am on it.
fantastic.
And maybe, because I'm not going to do it all first of all, I'm not qualified to do it, so I may call on some of you guys to help me with this. Okay.
Can the town arborist help with that? 'Cause
Probably,
thought
I
that
have to
was
take a
part
better
of-
look at it, in terms of what Probably, they're going to have to give us some information, whether they want to complete it or not, but I'm going to have to go with them about tree management, for sure. What do you guys want in tree management? I mean, the 2023 application is online. Our Montreat's 2023 application, which was approved, is online, so I can download it and print it out.
Well, I don't know that the tree management plan has probably changed too much since 2023.
Right, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of,
But there's probably going to be some Helene modifications.
Exactly.
That would be interesting for the Tree City
Exactly,
people to
yeah.
learn about.
yeah.
And we can fall on our sword for 24.
Yeah,
and-
so I will gather all that information and share with you guys.
Fantastic.
Okay? But we're not behind the curve on 2025.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're good there.
So,
Okay.
so the application covers actually things that had been done in calendar year '25. Is that right? So
That's why
it's looking backwards, not
It's
looking forward.
You know what, I can't say that they
Okay,
don't
we'll
ask
figure it
what are
out.
your plans for 2026, because I haven't really seen it yet.
Okay.
Okay? Plus, we're part of another group, which I will tell you, is a woman over at North Carolina Department of Agriculture who kind of coordinates some of these activities. Her name is Sarah. Yeah. It's more involved than you would think. It's not just sending in a fee. It's a real formal application.
I wish you luck with the Department of Agriculture.
Yeah, okay, thanks. I'll call on you.
I'm in the weeds with them myself right now, so.
Okay.
They're a challenging, paper-heavy organization.
Yes, I can see that.
Yes.
Okay,
probably
so I'm
closed.
on that. I'll take that responsibility on, to at least get it to the point of presenting it to you guys,
Okay.
the application. All right. Tyler, anything you want to share with us on your new business?
Maybe 3 weeks ago, Barry and the town took a couple trees out that were leaning over the creek and getting them cleaned out around Shenandoah area.
Oh, yeah, I
and
saw
then up
that.
through the lake area.
Right.
And then, just a random big tree fell maybe 2 weeks ago.
What failed?
A big tree just fell randomly up by the barn area and made a big mess up there. But,
Okay.
other than that, at least they got Shenandoah section of all those big trees that were leaning,
Right.
cleaned out in the creek, cleaned out and
Right.
stuff. So they're still
It's a work in progress.
trying to get creek cleaned out little by little, but
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any questions for Tyler? I mean, it's a work in progress. Other than normal trees that fall down, they're still cleaning up storm damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, is really what I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just storm damage and then just randomly.
Right, the normal, yeah, that's just the normal cleanup, but there's still storm damage. Okay. Okay, thank you. Public Works is not here today. We had our American Chestnut Foundation presentation. No public comments, I see, nobody's here. Any board members want to make any announcements that weren't covered on the agenda? Okay. All right, the next meeting is November the 11th, if my calendar is correct. Can we can double checking on that. And that's it. All right. So we'll have a motion to adjourn, just for the official minutes.
So
All
move to
right.
adjourn.
Okay, Elizabeth, 10:05 a.m., move to adjourn our tree board meeting for the month. Second? Tyler? Okay, move second. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. Thank you all. It's a very busy tree board. Thank you. Fantastic.